Hello and welcome to another episode of the Best You interview series. It's Gary here. Again, thank you very, very much as always for taking the time to join me for this episode. And today I'm delighted to be joined by author, researcher, speaker and human communication expert, Dr. Etel Leit, who's here to discuss why breakups shake us to our core and how to thrive forward. I just love that sentiment of thriving forward. Dr. Etel is a prominent figure in psychology, education and entrepreneurship and is the founder of SignShine, which is a family centre based in Beverly Hills. Holding a Ph.D. in psychology and a master's degree in leadership and education from Pepperdine University, Dr. Leit began her academic journey as a linguist after serving as a commander in Israel intelligence. As a dedicated researcher in human connection and relationships, Dr. Leit has extensively studied the dynamics of effective communication. She brings this expertise to her role as a faculty member at Palo Alto's Sofia University, teaching Ph.D. students in Ph.D. psychology and business programs. Dr. Leit is also a celebrated author with works including Unaddicted to You, You Are My Sunshine, Where is Water, and The Emotional Code. Dr. Leit is a familiar face on television with appearances on CNN, NBC, KTLA and Fox 11, where her insights on empowerment and communication resonates with wide audiences. Beyond her academic and professional accomplishments, Dr. Leit is a world traveller who values cultural diversity and is fluent in 5 languages. I hope one of them is Scottish, and that brings a global perspective to her work. Dr. Leit, thank you very, very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Gary, for having me. I was really looking for it because we met before, and this is just an amazing way to bring a real conversation to our listeners.
Absolutely. And a conversation that not a lot of people are having, so let's take it back a wee bit with your journey thus far. A varied background, of course, and lots of accomplishments in there. What parts of the journey were specific that took you to researching and writing about the difficult and kind of, if I could say, under the radar topic of the impact of breakups?
Yeah. So, the obvious when people say, I really experienced a really difficult breakup of my parents when I was a child. We were literally the first family to get divorced. It was so rare that we kept it as a secret from my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
Really, we had to make, as little kids, we had to make up stories. Whereas my dad and my grandpa didn't know at first that my parents got divorced. It was the rare. I went to school and I remember I was really embarrassed and ashamed for having my parents back in Israel, in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a very religious place. They got divorced.
Yeah.
And I carry that pain, forward. And I remember when I got married, I said, I will never get divorced, ever. That
Yeah.
was my goal. I think that choosing my partner was more about who am I not going to get divorced than it was just really my chase. And I remember when that came, the fear from the breakup, from the pain it's going to cause to my children, was even greater than the fear that it caused to me. Absolutely. It was a real um, pain and chaos and a lot of inner change, but what it did to my kids, I'm carrying it maybe until today. And then I started looking around and seeing how many people just go through the breakup. When social media come and it's so easy to do that. Nope, nope, nope. Next, next, next. We live in a society of instant gratification. It's like
Yeah.
more now, more now.
Yeah.
And yeah, for years I was a family counselor. I had a mommy and me for years, which is SignShine. I really consulted parents how to communicate better with their children. And slowly, slowly, all the conversations with the parents were about relationships. The kids grow and they have breakups and they get divorced. And I see the need of something that is so powerful and is practically part of our lives, but it's really judged for, I would say.
Yeah. So you take these experiences that you have, and then you start to say, I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
I have to be able to contribute in some way. How much part of that was understanding your own journey
Yeah.
in and of the moment?
So it's really was bound by observing. Um, the one thing that I saw, people don't take responsibility for their journey, right?
Yeah,
I can tell you that my biggest growth and the growth of my many, many clients is the minute that you take the responsibility for your actions. This is the change. And oftentimes when people come to my office on my consulting groups, they come with a lot of sorrow about the other person. He did, she did, he did. I call it the monkey talk. It's gone like that. Okay. They come with a story that someone hurt them. And by the way, that was definitely the story of my parents. It was always the blame, complain, shame. They did it to me. When
yeah,
all along, it's our growth, right? Something that I always say is like, one day you're going to write this person a postcard, thank you postcard, saying, thank you for helping me grow.
yeah,
Because without this breakup, we will never grow. We will stay in this, we can go another breakup, another breakup, but we will never grow if we're not going to say, okay, wait, what is my part in it?
yeah,
What can I change? And not saying that sometimes the person that is with you did always right for you, but there is something that you chose to be there,
yeah,
right? I joke with, not joke, it's not a joke, but I always tell my feminine energy, the women energy in my office, we don't live in Iran. You don't have to stay there. You have options. Thank God, we live in a Western society.
yeah,
Some parts in the world, they don't have any choice.
yeah,
Also ultra religious, homes, they don't have choice. You really literally have to run away.
yeah,
So why did you stay? And then you complain.
yeah, yeah. And it's a vicious cycle. So the ownership part is really, really interesting
Yeah.
because you're trying to you're trying to help a person move forward in an emotional state.
Yeah.
And sometimes, many of the times, they're not at their best. They're stressed, and when they're stressed, they're distracted, or their energy's low, or it's certainly in catabolic energy rather than anabolic energy and such. How do you try and achieve these breakthroughs when they are having other things going on in terms of stressors?
You said it so beautifully, because when our nerve system is fragile, it's not the place of creating the grow, but it's a place of awareness,
Yeah,
right? For any change, and if our followers have any notes or taking any, writing anything, write is, for any change, it begins with awareness. And I call it the 3 A's. Okay, the triple A: awareness, acceptance, and then action.
yeah,
People came up to me like, okay, like, what do I need to do? I'm like, first, awareness. Where are you?
yeah,
Just be aware of the pain. Be aware of the story that you're telling yourself so many years. Be aware of what is. Then we have the acceptance. Oh, wow, I've part in it. Or, oh,
mm,
wow, I didn't notice that because my parents, I didn't want to be like them, but I'm actually like them. The awareness of like, I'm always magnetizing the same person. And I call them the jerk, but it's like, I'm doing it. That's the acceptance. Okay. And now the action. So it's a process. It's not like boom, boom. Nothing is a really process. And if you take the time with the right person, I cradle them first, you listen, you create a safe space
yeah,
to have the nervous system, calm down. We have a safe space. You're heard. You're here. That's how you do it first. And then you start with a pushing. And, I always say I have a dimple, but I also was a commander in the Israeli intelligence. So, when you come to work with me, either in an e-course or as a client, it's not easy. It's fun. It's loving, because I all about love, but it's not easy.
yeah. You're here to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When there is mud on the floor, it's not a beautiful road all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So, from your experience, your literal experience with your family and your own relationships and the research that you've done, why do breakups, specifically breakups, have such a profound impact on our emotional and psychological well being?
I call it dependent syndrome. So we came to this world not, as mammals. We are not solist animals. We need other people to literally to survive, right? So
Yeah.
if you take a baby and this baby is not going to be held, research shows that this baby is not going to survive. When I was a teenager, my mom, my grandma, my grandma, my great grandma, they all worked in a hospital. And my mom worked close to the babies, when they had the babies. And some parents don't know that, but they leave their kids, they leave their babies in the hospital, either
Literally
because
leave them.
literally leave them.
Oh,
Yeah. Either because they have drug issues or because the baby has some sort of disability. They just leave the baby. And I have goosebumps every time I tell this story. And when I was a teenager, I used to go to the hospital just to hug the baby, to hold the baby. Right?
yeah.
It's actually some things that volunteer people do just to hold, cradle the babies who are left alone. I mean, the nurses have so much work to do. How much they can really hold a baby for an hour, they can do that. That for itself is a medicine for a little child.
Yeah.
It's a pure, that's how they survive, just from by human touch,
Yeah.
which shows you how much we literally depend on the existence of somebody else with us.
Mm.
Right? So it's obviously for evolution, to have more kids, to grow the world, but it's also very emotional.
Yeah.
A person cannot grow and survive alone. And then you develop this relationship with a person, which, by the way, resembles many times to your caregiver. So there is this game, right? I mean, it's a game. It's not like the person is like your mom, was like your dad, but there is something that is like your caregiver. And then when this breakup happens, it's literally your survival place get into injection. Like up, whoa, I can survive without this person.
Yeah.
The same thing. And that's why it's so profound and it's so deep when you have a breakup to someone that you really love and is part of your life. And that's why people don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to break up today. It's a process, right? Sometimes a year, sometimes it's a process until you really decide, and then you take the actions. You
Yeah.
don't want to separate from something that is literally so important for your living.
Yeah. And I love that you said it's part of a process because I too have had my own breakups, and that's another topic for another podcast at some point. But
Right?
yeah, for the next one, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's and my understanding would be that there are different types and styles of breakups. There would be a breakup that you initiate because of you've gone through that process on your own and said, this is the best thing for me and this other person in the relationship if we part ways. There would be something where it's very mutual, where you've tried your best and did what you can, and then come to the agreement that to say this is probably is not worth the investment anymore. And then there would be the other one where whether you were involved or not, whether you were paying attention or not, that it comes out of the blue, and you have that deep rooted shock, where you're saying, like, what? Excuse me, why did this happen? How did this happen? And such. Is the process that like the AAA process, is it the same for all three as you're moving forward?
Absolutely. What I said that the triple A
Yeah,
is for any change, for
right.
any change,
Yeah,
when you have the awareness and then you have to the acceptance and then the action,
yeah,
right? Nothing is like that, which is contradictory to all the social media, to ChatGPT, to AI, because it's faster, faster, faster. Do you know that our kids' brain plasticity, like the plasticity of the brain, is actually changing? So in our generation, when we wanted to know something when we were little kids, we went to our parents,
yeah,
right? And when they didn't know, some of us went to encyclopedia, we asked someone we know, we asked our friend, they asked the parent. I mean, we had to wait for an answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I ask what is the capital of Sweden, I had to wait for the answer.
Yeah.
These little kids, how long does it take them to get the answer?
Seconds.
Yeah. And then the brain wants to know something else, like, oh, where is it on the map? So they look at the map. And they're like, oh, is there an ocean? Oh, okay, that's the ocean. Can I snorkel there? Oh, that water. So their brains literally becomes like a web from the curiosity. It's not anymore a linear like us. It's like a web brain, which is really, really interesting because therefore also relationships change, right? We had relationship when we ask for a date, we wait for an answer. There was something that is very easy. Today, every Gen Z that I work with, and also little millennials, there is this anxiety. Oh my God, they didn't call. What's going to happen? They don't want me. For sure they don't want me, right? Because, it's the waiting time. It's really, really, really hard. And we come and we shame them and we blame them, but it's their brain that is completely different.
Yeah.
They really don't know how to wait because of how comfortable is the access of getting answers.
Yeah.
But it's not like that in relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible to say that, because I was going to ask about communication and how you can establish an appropriate communication rapport with your partner that's it's intentional and valuable in the moment, but also progressive enough that as you grow together as a union, you're able to continue to grow in terms of your communication. And I use an example right now. He never watches these anyway, so I'll use an example of my son. And he's 16 and he has his first proper girlfriend. And I'll say, for example, are you going to see her this evening or this week? And he's like, don't know, I'm not sure. And I'm saying, but remember before when I asked that and then you didn't actually do anything about it, and then she made other plans and you were kind of disappointed? And he's like, yes. And I'm saying, so how do you think you could maybe get in front of that and then put yourself out there to say, are you free on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night? Whatever the occasion.
What a great dad. What a great dad. Uh-huh.
But he just looks at me kind of and he goes, I'm sorry, what?
What?
Why would I want to do that? And as you were saying, what you were saying there, Dr. Etel, it really resonates with me, because I'm not getting irritated or anything, but I'm just thinking, this is the simple stuff. This, like, if you just express what you want, then she has an opportunity to respond, and then at least people can put up with anything as long as they know. So then you'll know. But he's kind of like, you know what? We communicate the way that we communicate, and it will be what it will be. Okay, until it's not. But
Exactly.
but it really gives me food for thought to say he's not disrespecting me. He's not poo-pooing my advice. His lens, his whole being is just completely different.
Exactly. And he has such an amazing dad for actually being able to talk to him about dating, about relationships, about that, because at 16 it's sometimes a taboo. Oh, what my dad was going to say. We are old people, and I think that you and I are very lucky in that sense. I don't know if my kids will hear it too, but they really come to me in these things. And it's amazing to see that, when your child is trusting you in that. And that means a lot about the relationship. Right? It's like, oh, my parents did a few things that are good in relationships. Let me go to them and ask. Even honestly, they never really want our advice. So this is something, I mean, we are going to parenting a little bit, but that's something also with couples, when one of the partners come to tell something and we come with our arsenal of advice, right? Immediately we do that. And how about saying this sentence? Again, listeners, write it down. This is an important one. Do you want me just to listen, or do you want my feedback?
Absolutely.
Right? Do you want me just to listen right now, or do you want my feedback? Because oftentimes kids or your partner, they do not want your feedback. They just want to release. right? And usually masculine energy will want to fix the feminine energy. So masculine energy will go like, you can do it, you know, it's like the feminine energy likes to blurt. We like, we have like bazillion thoughts, right? And just like hug and say, I see that.
Yeah.
That's the magic.
Yeah.
That's a really, really the magic. I see that.
Yeah.
See how hard it is or frustrating or wow, let's celebrate together. Magic of communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's take that a step further. During a breakup or post breakup, how important, from your research and experience again, is open, honest, timely, accurate communication? What does that look like, in fact,
Yeah.
during that time?
Yeah. So, you asked me to write a book right now. It's the biggest thing ever. Yeah. So there are two ways to communicate. When do we communicate, right? When we need something and when we feel something, right? When a baby communicates, they point.
Yeah.
The pointing means I want it, I please, or I see it, right? It's either a feeling or a need.
Yeah.
That's how we communicate, right? And oftentimes when it's I feel it, people come to the other person. I'm not talking about the beginning. I'm talking about a breakup right now. Not when the dopamine and the serotonin are there, but when a lot of, the anxiety, the cortisol is like rushing. They just want to say you did it and to blame and complain.
Yeah.
Communication style, not so good, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a place when you feel so at loss or pain or blame. First, before, it's always about when to communicate and how to communicate. So always when, listeners writing, and when and how, always when and how. So I even say, knock on their door or whatever and say, can I make an appointment with you? I have something important to say. Because if you decide the when to do it when you're really upset or something is going on, it's always going to come as blurting who you are so you can understand my feelings. And the other person is going to defend, it's going to be like, defending each other. But when you say, listen, I have something important, can we put a time to talk about it? Immediately, it reduces the anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? Or create a situation when it's less intense. Right? That's the when. And then the how. So how do you think people know how to communicate already? How do they say when something is hurting, or they come with, when you did this, when you're doing it, I hate when you do that. You should have, right? The hardest thing is to say, it's really painful to me. I'm just going to blurt an example. It's painful to me when I see this and that, because that is my old pain. Or when you don't throw away the trash and I have to nag you again and again and again and nag you again, it really reminds me of my mom that used to do it to my dad, and I don't want to be in this position.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. I just want to tell you how I feel. So what do you think happens to the other person? Nobody told him to take out the trash.
Yeah.
But the other person will feel this empathy like, it's never about the trash, by the way, not the dishes, ever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow. So she doesn't like to be the person who nudges, right? I'm just giving an example literally from my clinic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not about that. So when I do that, I step on her pain. I really do that. Okay. And vice versa. When I want to go with my friends to, I don't know, and you start, when I'm going to be back, when I'm going to be back, it hurts me because, my freedom is value that I really appreciate. And that's why we came together, because freedom for me is something that I value.
Yeah.
And I love you. And it doesn't mean when I go out with my friends, I don't love you. So you see, it drops the conversation to a completely different level, but it takes time and practice to do it. So first you do it with someone that you trust, and then you do it assignment alone, and then slowly you learn how to speak it. It's a different language.
Yeah.
I speak 6 languages, I should say. I speak the language of love.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
how do it's really, really hard. I'm
Yeah,
not saying it's easy,
yeah.
but miracles happens after.
Absolutely, and it reminds me of what we chatted about prior to recording when we met before, was you had said that relationships are a business. And if someone is having a business conversation with a colleague that says, like, you and I are just missing each other, it's really important that we work together for the betterment of this business that we're in. And as it turns out, the business is the strength of this relationship and the longevity of the relationship. Would you prepare in a business setting differently to how you would at home? The answer is probably almost 100% of the time, yes.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
it gets a different type and style of attention. And I love that. It really resonated with me before. So I'm glad that we got an opportunity to talk about that. Is that an example or a frame of reference that you see working with a lot of your clients that you work with?
Yeah. And I will start with why people even come together and then why they break up. It's the same thing. And why even they come together to a business
Mhm.
and why they decide to, not to do business with this person. So again, listeners, write it down. The three V's. I call it the three V's. Vibe is the first thing. When you get the vibe from someone, you want to do business with them. You
Yeah.
want to get into partnership or relationship with them, right? It's all about the vibe. By the way, the partnership vibe, it actually stands also in the scent. So in the app, they can look like, wow, amazing, whatever. But then when you see them, you're like, I don't know, right? It's the scent. We're mammals. We create a romantic relationship through our nose, right?
Right.
So first V is the vibe. The second one is the values, right? The
Yeah.
values. For example, I just mentioned this couple about going out with his friends when
Yeah.
she's nagging him, don't go, don't go, don't go. His value is like, I love my family, but I need some time with my masculine energy,
Yeah.
right? She comes with a fear that interfere with his value of he's going to see me, he's cheating, whatever it is not, many people do that. Many, not only women, by the way,
Yeah.
because of their past. Again, we're talking. So the second one is the values, or going to a restaurant. That's a first date. Is he ordering too much? Is he yelling at the waiter? Is he pulling the chair for you? That's all values. It's not this Gen Z don't and don't do. It's just values,
Yeah.
right? And then the last one is vision. Okay, so again, the values is also with a company, like
Yeah.
what's the values of a business. And then
Yeah.
the last one is the vision. Where are we going to go? Do you want kids? No, I don't want kids. I want only dogs. Do you want to live in the city? No, I want to live in the farm. Same thing with the business. Where are we seeing vision of this company? Do you want to see lots of clients? Do you want to do e-marketing? Like, what is it? So this, when you check these three V's throughout your relationship,
Yeah.
and you don't trust that the same values and vision are of 15 years ago, 3 years ago, you're going to have thriving relationships.
Yeah.
And then you can also have thriving breakup, right? I heard Gwyneth Paltrow speaking, and she spoke about conscious divorce. When you sit there and you're like, our vision is not the same anymore,
Yeah.
right? Let's break up and let's do it really cordial for our kids and for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's so powerful, and I hope the listeners and viewers really tune in to that. The level of effort, the level of awareness, the process you follow, how diligent you are about it, how you would schedule it in. And I love that you said, you have to constantly keep checking on that. Not every 5 minutes, but not every 20 years either. You do performance reviews on a regular basis in work, and you look at your annual figures, and you
Sure.
look at your targets, and you look at shareholder value, or depending on the type and style of organization that you're working with. Why would you not transpose that to the home, which is more important than anything you're doing in the workplace anyway?
Exactly. People do, like you said, like annual blood tests. They pay taxes. Everyone pays taxes every year, right? So they go into their account and they're looking and someone helps them. But the
Yeah,
one thing they don't do, they don't sit with their life partner, with the person who they share a bed with, more than that. And they
yeah,
don't do a check-in, which
yeah,
can really save so many of the breakups.
Yeah.
because when it comes, it's really, really hard to fix later. It's
Yeah.
doable, but it's harder.
Yeah. So I appreciate that every breakup is different and there will be common elements, of course, but they're different because they're different human beings that are involved at different ages and stages in their life, having had different experiences to that particular point. Is there any common support that you can provide to people out there who are going through a breakup or potentially might be planning a breakup or there's a breakup looming to give them an opportunity to not only survive through the breakup, but to thrive through the breakup and come out at the other side?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's my story. That's my third book, Unaddicted to You.
Yeah.
From my breakup, I can tell you that look at you, look at me today. Just because I was in my rock bottom and every aspect,
Yeah.
definitely emotionally, mentally, uh, health wise, I was just really financially, I was not in a good place. And then slowly, I picked myself up and reminded myself what is my worth and did it with me, which is the most important thing. Because when you break up, remember we said in the beginning, it's the, oh my God, nobody's going to be there. And many people do the rebound, because they don't want to be by themselves. But then the growth is actually to look at yourself and say, oh, that's me. Hey, me. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay. You're actually you're actually a beautiful person. Oh, I actually like you. Having this dialogue with you, with a person, and start to get to know you and see what is your vision? What do you want to do? Who are you? What is your relationship with other people? And that's where the growth starts. Just exactly from to being really on the floor. I always say a real change is when you're uncomfortable. Only
Yeah.
when you're uncomfortable. The subtitle of my third book is Loving Yourself Through the Darkness.
Yeah.
It's easy to love ourselves and to accept ourselves and everything is lovey-dovey and we whatever. It's the hardest when things are not going our way.
Yeah.
Well, when we have this anxiety going, right?
Yeah.
Two tools that I want to give people. One, very important. One is gratitude. I write my gratitude list every night over 9 years now. I write it with a pen, old style, not notes,
Yeah.
with a pen. I write all the things that I was grateful for today. And I put it in something that I researched for my PhD. That was my thesis. I put it on my God's box. So tonight, and many people I say, so what are you grateful for? So they say, my house, my kids, my health, very general.
Yeah.
And I said, no, what are you grateful for today? So
Yeah.
today, I'm really grateful for you, Gary, for this podcast. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to write your name in the gratitude list.
Oh, thank you.
So the brain starts collecting what are you grateful for,
Yeah.
right? It's a simple tool. What are
Yeah.
you grateful for? Instead of like, oh my God, what are you grateful for?
Yeah.
That's one thing that I absolutely love. And the second one, remember that one day you will pick somebody else. I remember when I went through the horrible divorce, she wasn't even my friend, she was my colleague, but she got divorced. So I called her and I was like, really, like, oh my God, I don't know, and people will know about it. It's the fear, it's the shame because I have some, and she said, I'll help you. And remember that one day somebody else is going to get divorced and you will hold their hand.
Yeah.
And that, I was like, I'm going to hold someone's hand. How? I'm broken. And I remember when I said it to the next woman who I met, I said, you one day hold someone else's hand. It's like, so anyone that is going through a breakup now and you think that you need so much help, yeah. But remember, one day you are going to hold someone's hand. And that's the magic of giving back.
Yeah.
So saying thank you and giving back.
Yeah. That's so powerful. And what I love about that, especially on the gratitude side, is you alluded to it there, you start to you start to become more intentionally present
Yeah.
during the day because you know that you have this exercise coming at night, not that you dread it or anything, but you then start to pay a different type and style of attention where you're kind of like, that's going in tonight. I'm going to mention that tonight. This is the second time it happened. I didn't mention it first time. I'm going to mention it tonight. And then it just creates this expansive opportunity to see things differently, to see things actually even just literally for the first time, things that you might take for granted as you're traversing through daily life. So I would absolutely echo everything you said there in terms of that.
Thank you. And it's beautiful. We spoke about your son, and I have kids. So when you do it with kids, because the brain of the kids is very, innocent and just sponge. So when you start doing it with young kids, their brain says, oh, I need to tell my parents in the evening what I was grateful for. So they come and they're like, I'm grateful for, whatever, Lisa, she gave me a candy today. And then their brain is starting collecting that instead of collecting what wasn't right. Because our brain has a filter. It's called reticular activation system. And it literally shows you more of what you focused on. That's it. It's a real thing in research.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? You just write it down, because when you write it down, it's different than thinking about it.
Yeah.
Write it down. It comes alive. And you're like, oh, every night. Or have a meeting with your family every Saturday. What are you, the grateful thing that you had? Many religions actually do that. They sit around the table and they say the, how do you call it, when they hold hands and they say the gratitude, right?
Yeah.
But this is really not a religion thing. It's something that comes within you.
Yeah.
Personal. Me, and I don't have to impress anyone around the table. It's me. Nobody's reading it. I read it.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me think also so my son's now 16 at the time of recording, and every day when I would pick him up from daycare or from school, I would say, how was your day? And he would say, good. And I would say, what was the best part of your day? And I did used to follow that up to say, what was the worst part? And we never went there. It just never stuck. But when it became the best part, you're right about the reticular activation part, because then during the day, he would subconsciously start to say, my dad's going to ask. And if I give him an answer that he thinks is rubbish, he's going to ask me again, So he would then come up with some creative answers. And I still do it to this day. He comes home from work or he comes home from spending time with his friends, and I'll say, how was your night? It was good. I'll say, what was the best part of it? And sometimes it's the most innocuous thing. I swapped my sandwich with my friend, and his mum made him a soup, and it was really nice. And I'm like, oh, cool, that's great.
Yeah.
What's wrong with my sandwiches? And then we have another conversation. But it's one of these, and I didn't really know that I was doing that. But here's the breakthrough for me, I should say right now, Dr. Etel, is I don't do that with my partner. I do it with my son. But with my partner, our communication cadence is different.
Yeah.
And that's really a note to self to say every day.
There are out there so many, my partner and I, we still do it. So you can go on Amazon, you can find million little cards, question cards.
Yeah.
And we buy these question cards, and as we drive, one of us have to pull a card, and then we talk about it. And by the way, there are amazing, amazing cards for children that you can find, and for teenagers. So, for example, there is cards of choice. There is a scenario, and what would you choose and why? And they love it because it's all about kids. Like, you go to school and everybody have like the best shoes, and you do, like, what would you do? Things like that. Or within couples, like, what is the thing that made you really, really afraid in the last year? You don't ask these things naturally, but when you pull a card, it's a fun one. Listeners, another thing to write down, buy this deck of cards, right? It doesn't have to be made by something or literally, I don't know, I'm making now maybe a commercial, but Shein sells it, right? Which is $3 a deck of cards. I didn't mean to do any commercial, any whatever, but go to Amazon, go to anywhere. You will find these cards, which are empowering conversation, deep things, funny things, interesting things, sad things. Go through their emotion with someone. Then it doesn't go exactly what you said. How was your day?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's beautiful. Just, you see what you went through now? You went to the awareness.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now we're doing it with you. So you went to the awareness. You had the acceptance of, I can do something with it or not, right? Are you going to have the action of actually getting the cards or doing something?
100% yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, will it be different than I would tell you, you should buy the cards to have a conversation with your partner? Different process. You
Exactly.
really went through the way of like
Yeah.
awareness, acceptance,
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's so powerful. Yeah, I love it. A real live demo. I love that. Unscripted as well. Fantastic. So, as you know, Dr. Etel, this is called the Best You interview series because I like to empower within people that there are always different versions of the best version of you, depending on what you're talking about in your life. What's one regular practice that Dr. Etel employs to be the best version of you?
I have so many practices. One of them is the gratitude, which makes me really, really grateful and better and see the better things.
Yeah.
The other thing is what makes me better is every new moon, I do my moon intention, which is my manifestation for the next month.
Right.
And I read it every night before I go to sleep. That too, I do for 10 months now. And I have a whole e-course about it. How do you do it? Because it's not just what you see, you write it down. There are special colors to do it. There is a special formula to do it. And I really do it every night. And all the things that you see here in front of you are I really, it's thanks to my manifestation.
Yeah.
So I look at the month and I say, okay, if the moon, because it's a new moon, grows, so also the things that I really would like to see. And I write, what do I see and how do I see them? And it comes here. For example, we're right before the TEDx, but I'm sure when this episode is going to go to the air, that my TEDx is going to be already on air.
Yeah.
I saw myself on the stage with TEDx.
Yeah.
And my partner and I doing it all the time. You know, we do a new moon, but then before any trip, we do a manifestation together. And it's amazing. Everything we say come true, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we don't say we want some bad things, only the good things, and they come true because the minute that you can feel and see something, you create your reality in it, and you create the better version of yourself in a very easy and a beautiful way. Because most people are afraid. Oh my God, I'm afraid, right? That's what the mind reticular activation system goes to. But we are going to show, oh, no, can you see it? Yeah. Can you feel it? Yeah. So it's yours. Right? Many people say, oh my God, I want $10 million in lottery. Okay, let's do that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can you feel it? Can you actually feel it, having it, like counting, like having, that's like a very little one, but love or anything. Now, not only see it when I say it, see it all month, every day. If I ask you every time, do you see $10 million in your account? Oh, yeah. So that's how you start. Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing that my partner and I, we actually wear this together. Our first date, you know how people do, cheers or, Hebrew L'chaim, or what do you say, Scotland?
Cheers is typically what we would say. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers. I have no idea why I said, and it was in March, right? And I said, Happy New Now. And he said, Happy New Now.
Yeah.
And we decided to take everything that we have between us to the now.
Yeah.
So whenever the anxiety goes into what's going to happen, we're like, Happy New Now, baby. Oh, Happy New Now. And even when we say that, we know that the other person is having these thoughts of like, Happy New Now. There is a big hug, Happy New Now. And we both wear this very simple one that says it's custom made Happy New Now.
Oh, I love it.
Because it's all about being in the now.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. This has been such an enlightening conversation. Dr. Etel, where can people find out more about you?
Oh, so Dr. Etel Leit, this is one of my books. If you go on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, definitely YouTube, Amazon, you can see my 4, but coming 5 books. The 5th one is coming in October. Podcast. And also, if we have any listeners from China or Chinese, I also have the app Little Red Note. Everything is translated to Chinese because I have relationships from them. And definitely my website. You can find 4 different courses. One I spoke about a few of them here. Manifest Your Soulmate. which not only if you are single, definitely if you are in a relationship, because your soulmate, you can change it within it, how to set healthy boundaries, how to stop people pleasing, because people pleasing is lying to myself and I don't want to do it anymore. We've done it. And lots of tricks and tools, because I'm all about the tools, not only about talking wah. It's really about the tools that people can go and say, wow, I know how to do it. I have some tools here. That's my best goal. So hopefully find me and say hello to me. I love when people DM, say hello. Usually it goes in the process of the team, but usually I go and I answer back if you have any question.
Fabulous. This has been such an enlightening conversation. I
Yes.
feel much lighter. Literally, the energy that's been created has just been absolutely fantastic. I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, Dr. Etel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.